He had blood all over his mouth. So I was scared, and I started running. He knocked me over. I fell to the ground. I got up, I ran out the door screaming for help.
This is horrible. Everyone would understand that.
My whole entire life, we've never been close.
This is not his fault, this is your fault. You did wrong.
Mom, you're in the middle of it.
Surprised you're picking sides, Mom.
I'm not on sides, doesn't matter if you're my son or not. Fair is fair, right is right, wrong is wrong.
Former lawyer, mayor, and talk show host. Now, he's Judge Jerry Springer. Plaintiff Rachelle Benjamin was walking her service dog, Toot, when they were chased and brutally attacked by the defendant's dog. Defendant, Marquise Benjamin, says he did everything possible to keep his dog from getting out, and he already paid the plaintiff's vet bill.
Ma'am, please approach the stand. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
I do.
Yes.
This is case 113 on the docket, Benjamin versus Williams.
Okay. And let's see what we have here. We have the plaintiff, Ms. Benjamin. You are suing the defendant, Mr. Williams, for $5,000 for vet bills and emotional distress due to your deceased dog. Tell me the story.
I was walking my dog.
What
and
kind of dog?
He's a pug. I would like to show you a picture
Yeah,
of him
but we
as
could see
well.
that. There you go.
Oh, well, there
That
go
is
my
it.
dog.
Yeah.
I was walking him one afternoon, and I saw a dog coming diagonal aggressively towards me.
What kind of dog was it?
I thought it was a pit bull.
My dog was a boxer. It was a boxer, it wasn't a pit bull.
Okay, it was a boxer.
So I was scared, and I started running with my dog in the house. As soon as I got in the house to turn around to shut the door, the dog knocked me over. He was a big dog. He knocked me over. I fell to the ground, and he immediately attacked my pug.
Oh.
And I got up, I ran out the door screaming for help. About 15 minutes, the pit bull was in there just mangling my dog around. And a maintenance man came, and he called for the dog to come out. And when the dog came out, he had blood all over his mouth. I also want to let you know that I'm scared of big dogs. Toot was a dog that someone bought for me for an emotional support dog for my daughter and for me to conquer my fears of dogs. I have a daughter that has cerebral palsy. She's unable to walk. She's unable to talk.
Yeah.
That's her right there.
Yeah.
I tend to all her needs, and that dog was her emotional support dog. Like, now she looks for him. Like, she be looking for him. She, I have a son as well and he does, I haven't even told him that our dog is gone.
This is horrible. Everyone would understand that. How did you find out who owned the dog?
My daughter had pulled up to the scene right after I rushed my dog to the vet, and she must have spoke to the defendant.
Your dog was still alive.
My dog was
still alive.
still
And you took your dog to the vet.
I thought he was gonna make it.
Yeah.
He did not make it.
And how do you enter the story here?
I'm sorry that all this happened. I felt bad about it.
How long did you own that dog, your dog?
For 3 weeks.
Oh, for just 3 weeks?
I got him from Bark, the pet shelter. I
Sure.
love dogs,
Yeah.
And I went to her and I asked her what happened. After that, when that happened, I took my dog to the pound because I couldn't keep him no more. I didn't know he was like that.
Yes, and you are his wife?
His fiance. I wanted to add that Zeke had got out before. Zeke got out of the cage and broke out, and so we said, okay, Zeke can't, we need to find a different way to keep Zeke contained because Zeke can't stay, and he broke out of the cage. So then we said, okay, we don't want him to get out. So we put him in the garage and then put twist ties all around the cage so he wouldn't get out again. This time, when he went to work, we went to work,
Yeah.
he got out again.
If your dog broke out twice already within the couple of weeks that you've had the dog, you kind of had some sign that something had to be done, but you didn't know what else to do to keep the dog from running out.
Yeah.
But in these times that the dog ran out, the dog hadn't attacked
No, he
There's
came
been
back.
no complaints?
Yeah.
All right.
For the dog dying, I felt so bad about it. I got a call from her saying the vet bill was gonna be $600. I feel so bad, I paid her $600.
So you gave the 600 right away?
Yeah. I got a call from her saying the vet bill was gonna be $600. I feel so bad, I paid her $600.
So you gave the 600 right away?
Yeah. And I wanted a letter to make sure we was good, and she wrote it for me saying that once I paid the $600, I wouldn't be charged or she wasn't gonna come after me.
I wrote the note saying I wouldn't press criminal charges due to the fact that his dog had killed my dog. I said I wouldn't press criminal charges.
Yeah, I, Rachel Benjamin, owner of Toot Benjamin the dog, is accepting payment of $600 from Marquis Williams for pit bull attack on the
And that was before
March
I knew
1st
my
of
dog
19.
died.
Yeah, I understand that. And I, Rachel Benjamin, will not press charges on Mr. William due to animal bill getting paid in full. All right, so you said you pay this and I'm not going to file charges against you. You didn't say criminal, you just said you wouldn't file charges.
Yes, because...
Press charges.
And that's because that was just, I thought my dog was gonna live.
Got it.
My dog died immediately, like that night.
A few days later after that, we had a talk on the phone. She said the dog didn't make it. I said, I'm sorry. I was sorry.
Of course. No one thinks you did this on purpose, okay?
And
You're not a bad person.
I researched and I looked up some more pugs. And I found one. I offered to buy her another pug. She said she didn't want it.
He offered you another dog, and you said no. Why?
I'm conquering my fears of dogs, and to
see.
see my dog get handled, and losing the dog in that kind of manner.
You don't want
I'm
it.
not ready right now.
Got it.
Because I feel like I couldn't protect them. So I'm not ready right now.
No one's
mentally.
pushing you to do
And
that, but,
and
you know.
this is the conversation. I have our texts.
He says, is there anything I can do to fix this situation? You said, yes, I would like your dog to be put to sleep so he don't kill again, and $1,000 for pain and suffering.
I had already given my dog up.
But here you wrote, my dog has been put down. Your dog was put down?
Yeah, and I told her that when I gave her the money, I told her I was gonna take him.
And when she asked for another $1,000, we didn't have another $1,000. You know, we have 3 kids, we work, we're bus drivers just like everybody else, and that's why he offered to give her the dog, because we just didn't have that type
And
of
the
money.
dog was $700 alone to get him, but I was
Yeah.
gonna get him.
What I see are really nice people in front of me that got involved in a tragic situation of nobody's purposeful making. And we know what a dog means to any child, and your child has major issues.
A lot.
And yet I also look over here and I see a nice family trying to raise 3 kids, trying to do a good thing by a dog. They lost their dog too in this incident. You know, I would go in and hear your story and my instinct would be, what were you guys doing? And it's very hard for me to say, what were you guys doing? They rescued a dog to begin with. The dog became very difficult to control. This happened, awful. They put their dog down. They immediately made no excuses. Here's the money to pay for the vet bills. Here's another dog I can give you. No dog's going to replace your dog, understand that. But in other words, oftentimes people come into this court and they're trying to make excuses or they're trying to get away from responsibility and all that. I honestly don't see that here. What did they not do to try to solve this situation, which was horrible? They were only trying to do good things. The result was awful. But I see 2 families here who lost their dog, child who loved that dog. I totally understand why you don't want a dog in replacement now. And anything I get, if I said, okay, we're going to give you some money, that's not going to bring your dog back. Therefore,
They also just said they was gonna buy a dog for $700, but then they didn't want to give me $1,000. I'm so confused at that right there.
Well, they wanted to give you a dog. It's a different thing than just saying, I want money. Without the cameras on them, knowing, without any lawsuit being threatened, anything at that time, they were just coming forward, which many people wouldn't do.
I understand
And
that.
I totally believe, if I had a bet on it, I believe that if within the year you went to them and said, could you help me get this other dog? There's no reason to believe they wouldn't do it based on what they have voluntarily done. So therefore, $250 as a down payment, a good show of support in terms of her eventually, when she's ready, getting a new dog. And I find that is fair. So I find for the plaintiff in the sum of $250.
I just feel like she was taking advantage of me in some type of way.
Actually, they just contradicted themselves in there. They said $700. They was gonna pay for a dog for $700, but I asked for $1,000 for pain and suffering, and I didn't get that.
I feel really bad about the dog, but I mean, she just wouldn't stop coming. I feel like, you know, justice prevailed against people who weren't trying to hurt anybody. We were just trying to help the dog. That's all we were trying to do.
Plaintiff Michael Lindhorst Jr. says his big brother conned him out of $4,000 he'd saved up since he was 12 years old. Defendant Jeremy Haddad admits he got money from his younger brother, but says it was just part of the sharing that goes on in every family.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Yes.
This is case number 225 on the docket, Lindhorst versus Haddad.
Okay, and welcome to you guys. We have the plaintiff, Mr. Lindhorst, and you are suing your brother, Jeremy, for $4,000 for a personal loan to fix his car. Why don't we start with you, and then I'll get your side of the story, okay?
So I'm suing my brother because he's taking advantage of me. He's been borrowing money from me since I was 12 years old, and he borrowed $4,000 on July 12th. It was to fix his truck. And I had a savings account with $4,000 in it that I've been saving since I was 11 years old when I got my first job at a horse farm.
Yes.
And I basically have been saving up my whole life, working on that farm and delivering pizza. And he borrowed the money. I have my bank statements.
Yeah, and I'd like to see that, and he promised to pay you back, and you're saying he didn't.
Yes, he would waste money. I have proof of that on Facebook of him going skydiving, going on helicopter rides, buying new tools, and I have pictures from Facebook. He bought this air compressor 2 months ago for $3,000.
Okay, if I could hear your side of the story now.
Your Honor, I don't owe my little brother anything. You know, through, you know, his whole growing up, I bought him, you know, mini dirt bikes when he was a kid, giving him any old video games I've had. You know, this is what family is. Like, there'd be a point, you know, where I need something, and I know he'll be there for me. Like this, we've always done this, you know.
Right.
But you know, this has completely changed our relationship. He's been bugging me all the time, being annoying, calling all the time, obviously stalking my Facebook.
Now let me hear from your mom. These are both your sons, right?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
When my son Jeremy borrowed this money from my son Michael, he did intend on paying him back 2 weeks later. He promised he would.
I'm surprised you're picking sides, Mom.
I'm not on sides, I'm being fair.
You shouldn't pick any side.
It doesn't matter if you're my son or not. It's not right that he took all this time and gave all kinds of excuses of why he didn't pay it, didn't answer his texts, didn't answer his calls, and eventually he blocked Michael from his phone, which is not right, because when you owe somebody money and when you make a promise, whether it's verbal, written, or either way, you pay them. You be a man of your word. You're only as good as your word.
I don't think I owe him any money. I mean, this is what family's for.
You did wrong. You borrowed, you said you'd return, and you didn't. And now you've ignored him, and you've given him no other choice but to take you on court about this. This is not his fault. This is your fault.
So we have messages showing that my mom's saying to him that he was intended to pay the money back in 2 weeks. And then I also have messages between me and him that say, I'm saying, are you ever going to pay me back? You're making me nervous. He said, of course, I'm not a thief. And he blocked me on all social media and my number, so I had no contact with him.
Okay. Here's Mom saying, I'm not taking sides, but he's been waiting a long time for his money, and you had promised him it 2 weeks after you had borrowed it. He doesn't know what else to do to get his money, and a lot of times you won't reply to him or answer his calls. It's been very difficult for me, you're saying, but that wasn't part of the agreement. Mom says, are you ever going to pay me back? And then you say, of course, I'm not a thief. All right, here's what I see. I don't think there's any question that it was a loan. He loaned you $4,000, and you said you would pay him back. And that's all very believable. Now you're saying, on your behalf, that I've done a lot of things for you, I've given you breaks on other things, you needed things in life, and I've done it for you. So it goes back and that's his defense. Now,
That's what family's for.
but we're in a court of law, and here's what the law is on things like that, because that happens a lot. That you have an alternative way, you're suggesting the alternative way you paid him back. However, under the law, that is only acceptable if the person who made the original loan agrees that that is repayment.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
Like, you know, the whole, when I bought him the dirt bike when I was a young kid, like, I was trying to help him get the childhood that I didn't have. Like, I was, you know, I had a single parent, brought up in an apartment. You know, he had two parents in a house with land. You know, the whole reason I bought him the dirt bike when he was 7 years old was because he had land to ride on, the stuff that I didn't have. Like, you know, just always wanted to be, you know, to help my little brother and help anybody in my family have a better childhood than I have. And I just did not expect this. Like, it wasn't a loan. It was like family helping family. You know, it wasn't a loan. It was like family helping family. That's how I looked at it from the beginning.
My whole entire life, we've never been close. He's gone to college. He lives an hour and a half away from me now. We see each other probably only a few times a year.
You know, there are obviously some issues here with family. Mom, you're in the middle of it.
Yes,
You've raised,
but still, fair is fair, right is right, wrong is wrong.
Is there any document that says that it's a loan and he will pay you back?
I have a paper that says he owes me the money and that he was going to pay me back. Just basically him admitting that he owes me the money.
Yeah, that's what I want to see. And here he signs it saying that he will pay $1,000 before the 20th of each month. Okay, if you did sign this saying you'd pay $1,000 before the 20th of each month, beginning on June, if you don't believe you should do this, why did you sign it?
On that day when he came in.
Came in where?
My shop. He came in my shop.
Okay, and what kind of shop is this? I'm sorry.
So I do detailing, like detailing of vehicles.
Oh, I see.
So he shows up to my shop. This would be the second time in 8 or 10 months that he showed up. When he walked in the door, I was all happy. I was smiling. I thought he'd come to visit because it's not close to my mother's house where he lives. And as soon as I started talking to him, he had the document in his hand. He's bringing this up again. I thought he was there to visit, and then he throws this in my face, and I didn't even read it. I just signed him. I had customers come in. I didn't know he was there to do this. I thought he was there to say hi, so honestly, I didn't even read it.
The facts are that he did loan you $4,000. Your defense is, hey, I did things for you, and I understand that. However, he has to agree under the law that he will accept that as repayment. And because he hasn't accepted that, I have no choice but to say that the $4,000 is still owed, so judgment for the plaintiff, $4,000.
I didn't appreciate that. My mother picked my brother's side over me. You know, he's over 18. He could have come to court by himself, but...
If it had been the other way, I would have been on his side if it had been him owing the money. If I had been asked to be a witness. I go where it's fair and where it's right.
Thanks for watching. Now please approach the bench. The way I look at it, you have two options here. Option A, watch more Judge Jerry. Option B, watch more Jerry Springer. The choice is yours. Now get out of my courtroom. You have more clips to watch. And don't forget to subscribe.